Hey there, everybody. Shell Brodnax here with another fantastic episode of Stager Talk, and I'm super freaking stoked today. Look who I got on the show, Daniel Coffman.
Super excited too. Hey.
We are super excited because we are manifesting kings and queen right here, are we not?
Yes.
Divine intervention.
Completely manifested, and here we are. I'm so happy to be on the show actually, because I've seen you in posts a couple times do this, and I thought, oh, this is so cool. Like, look at all these stagers who are like moving and shaking, doing their thing, and here I am.
And here you are doing your moving and shaking. So let's tell the story. You tell your side of the story about manifestation, and then I'll tell my side. So you can go first.
Okay, so I would say like a year, maybe at the beginning of this last year, I said to Jason, I'm like, I like staging and this is all really fun, but what I really want to do is kind of find like a spokesperson role in this whole industry. And I really want to be like on stage talking to people. And Jason, like most of my big ideas, he's just kind of like, okay, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I put out lots of these kind of like cheeky reel posts, and someone, Bungalow Home Stagers, responded saying, let's get Daniel on stage at RESACON. And I was like, oh my God. So I responded to that. I was like, from your lips to Resa's ears. And then boom, you responded, or someone from Resa responded below that saying like, hey, let's move this to an email. And we did, and it turned into this whole thing, and we met, and you were like, let's host together. And I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what we were talking about. Like, that's what I was talking about. I had to remind Jason, right, that I like totally manifested this. And now Mr. Cynical, because he is about everything. He's like, manifestation is like the term in our house. And so every time I'm like negative, he's like, look, you're manifesting something else now. Like I have these magical powers. But yeah, so you asked if we wanted to co-host, and I of course accepted, because that's exactly what I want to be doing. And even some more opportunities have come up along the way, and that's the way I saw it happen. Is that like similar?
So what happened on my end was, we always look at these events. Every program that we run, we look at it, what went well, what didn't go well, what are you going to do different next time? So we were looking, yep. And we were talking about, we made a lot of changes to the awards this year. They were chef's kiss. Everybody loved them. One of the most successful award season we've had thus far. The technology worked, everything worked. But anyway, we were putting things together, and we were thinking, what are some other things we can do? Let's talk about the award show. Let's zhuzh it up a little bit, because most years it is hard for me. Most people don't like to get on stage. So I'm always, dragging them up on stage, and then they're not comfortable. And I'm like, it's when it's just me, there's a lot of pressure on you just to be able to get through it. And I can do it. I can do a great job and everything, but let's share the love with somebody. So we were thinking, how can we zhuzh this up a little bit and make it a little bit better? And then all of a sudden, Felicia was like, you got to check this dude out on the Instagram, man. She didn't say the Instagram. I'm old. I said the Instagram, didn't I? I caught that. She didn't say that. Sorry, Felicia. She's in her 30s. She said, you got to see this guy on Instagram. He's so hilarious. You're going to love him. And so I'm like, I'll be the judge of that. Oh my God, book him. And I'm like, she's like, really? And I'm like, reach out. We got to reach out to him. Let's get some talking going. And she's like, all right, let's make it happen. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed, because we thought, let's meet first. Let's see if we jam together. But then when we did, we're like, okay, this is cool. We got some ideas brewing here. And now we're going to collab on, how we're going to make this show. The awards itself is a program. It's a program, and it is a show, but it's going to be full throttle this year.
And what are we wearing? I mean, we absolutely have to start planning. My fabulous neighbor who, on another Instagram account I have, we like go into her closet and dress up all the time. I just think it's like so much fun to do. She's like, what are you gonna wear? And I'm like, oh, there's gonna be outfit changes for sure. Which we haven't talked about yet, but
no, but we should collaborate on that, because I think I'm just excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think we're going to bring a lot of humor to it. Why not? I mean, the Oscars, well, the Oscars are fun. For the most part, they're fun and they're really nice categories. This last year, they had a little bump in the road, but they moved through it. And, you know, we don't expect any bumps in our road, but let's make it funny and let's make it a good time, right?
I know, definitely. I mean, we'll just be ourselves and do what we do. It's going to be a lot of, I'm
fabulous
so
self.
stoked.
I know, I'm excited about it. I don't get excited about much these days anymore. I just don't. It's like, yeah, all right, we're doing it a while. But now I'm like, okay, this is new. I'm into it. Let's dig into it. Now, the other thing about you is let's talk about your Instagram. I have to just dive. I literally want to take like an afternoon in your brain and just I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if I could, I don't drink anymore, but it's like I want to sit poolside and drink a Mai Tai with you and just gab about social media. But most importantly, creativity, because I'm on social and I don't come anywhere near doing, I'm more serious. But I want to do things like you do on social media. But I look at you and I'm like, look at him, he's slaying that. And then I would do it. And then the imposter syndrome sits in and you're like, lame. I'm so lame. Why did I do this? Why did take that filter off? Don't do this. Just delete. And then you'd end up not doing it. Where do you get your creativity?
So the Instagram creativity for me is like one part relatability, one part scaring the shit out of myself. Like I'm just like always trying to think, what do all of us have in common that would be funny to talk about? And then then I find like an audio or something like that, or I'll put together a framework of a script for myself. And when I watch it back, if I'm like, I can't believe I just said that, I'm posting that because I like kind of live for that on the line of like and like total laughing, right? I just that's what makes me excited. And so when I can create something that is funny to me, I imagine that it will be funny to other people. And I think along the way I'm never really sure if like I've been leading with authenticity or with like fake confidence. But the thing about confidence is no one can really tell if it's real or not. Like that's the key to becoming confident, is just acting confident. And then you start to become confident, you know? And Instagram has really helped me do that, like unlock my authentic self and my own confidence in me.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love your stuff. I mean, there's just so much good work that goes into it because here's the other thing that I noticed with you is that not only do you have the technology down, and this is a good lead. It's a good segue in a moment. We're going to get some really good stuff for you.
I was like, this is good.
Put a pin in it because I'll get there, people. Don't rush me. But you got the technology down with, you know, because you speed some stuff up and you can, you know, you do the things with the camera and all of that, the special effects, and then the words that come across the captions. I love that. And I've seen some of that. But what I've noticed most importantly is that the things that you find interesting to make the video, it's like your brain is like, is it always on the lookout, or is it just you see it and you're like, boom?
Yeah, so sometimes I'm like batching my content. Like I'll get this like stream of great ideas, or there's a topic that I'm particularly interested in poking fun at, and I'll just create and, you know, save it all, and then kind of go into this like hibernation because it's a little bit draining. But other times it's just like shotgun reel posting where I'm like, oh, that's a hilarious audio, I'm going to put it on this scenario, and, you know, I'll do it maybe like a couple times until I'm making myself laugh, and then just post it. And I used to really think a lot about, oh, when's the best time to post, or like what kinds of hashtags need to happen or anything like that. But what I realized is over time, it doesn't really matter. Like as long as you're being consistent and you're just doing you, your followers kind of start to sign up for it just all the time. And that kind of affection back, I'm living for it. I'm I'm getting such a fulfilling response from mostly these other stagers, and that's not something I ever expected to do. Like I was using Instagram and TikTok like everybody else, and I was trying to show off pictures of like before and after pictures. And then that just kind of got old to me. I thought, I'm not feeling special in this space. But this makes me feel really seen, and I feel like a community is starting to develop around it.
Oh no, I'm devastated. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry. You put a lot of work in this.
Yeah. I wanted it to be a beacon of hope for my 3 followers on Instagram.
And I don't know. I love it. Was that even the question you asked? I feel like I just
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Question.
Absolutely. Can you give everybody your Instagram handle? What is that? Where
at Staged Spaces, staged with an EED and spaces with an ES. And we have been in business for about 9 years, but I have only been posting like this for about the last 18 months, maybe. And in that time, I have experienced more activity than any of the previous work that went into this, and more connectivity with this industry, which I'm realizing is so freaking vibrant. I mean, there are so many amazing people that are home staging that you like in different ways. We all see it differently, and we're all have like different processes. So I don't know. I'm totally turned on by what I'm learning from other people in this community.
Yeah, it's a good community to be a part of. I'll tell you, I've been in this industry 21 years now, and I know I'm a dinosaur, right? That's his look. That's his inside voice went, damn, she looks good.
Not bad.
And the other part of his inside voice went, has she had work done? The answer is no, not so much.
Oh, well, that's even more impressive.
I do need it, by the way. I'll start a GoFundMe in a little bit, and we'll post it. So anyway, it's true. We really have a really nice community. So it's like when somebody new gets into the industry, I think that, there's always going to be people that are just going to not want to help somebody out. Every industry has it. There's just people in there. They're like, hey, I had to go school of hard knocks. So should you.
Yeah.
But 95% of the people out there, I think, really want to help other people. And they can be very, very welcoming and willing to give back and to give their expertise and to help somebody out. Because here's the thing. If you're a stager in this industry and you want the bar raised, and that's what we're all working to do. RESA's mission is to advance professionalism and excellence in real estate staging. We want to do that. Wouldn't you want to lift somebody else up? Because you want to elevate the industry as a whole. And by not helping people younger, newer, getting into the industry and giving them a leg up, it takes them that much longer to get where they want to go, or they die a slow, cold death and drag your industry down with it. So by not helping those people, you're actually contributing to the negativeness of the industry by allowing stereotypes to keep out there about staging and stagers and misinformation, whereas, rising tides raise all boats. And so if you go in there and you breathe some life into somebody, you just raise them up.
Did you make that up?
I didn't. Like and you know what? No. And it took me like 10 years I'm not really great at sayings. I'm like usually. You
would never know, because
I almost swore. I'm a bad swearer. No, actually, I'm really good at it, but I shouldn't do it. I'm really great at it. No, not at all.
I love that. Rising tides. What is it?
Rising tides raise all boats.
Raise all boats. I love that. When I first, I think I spent my first 3 years being a total stager snob, maybe even longer, to tell you the truth, because I felt like that was the only way to protect my,
intellectual property.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Because there's like so many intangibles about being a designer, no matter what kind of industry you're in. It's your ideas, right? And then I went to this workshop and someone told me, never be afraid of being told that's not a good idea, or someone taking your idea, because your job as a creative person is just to constantly generate ideas. And it totally removed the pressure of feeling like I had to protect it, because our creative brains are always going to do that. We're just going to constantly generate more things. And like, that is actually what makes us amazing people. It is not the protection of each individual little brainchild. And so once I finally got over myself and stopped trying to protect all the processes we've come up with, or the way I place a sofa in a room, or where I got my art or something like that, I started finding so many more opportunities to make money, actually, right? Because now I had friends that were helping me, and they also felt like they had a friend in me. And that's how I'm here right now, is just by being open with information, with a process, helping people come into it, because though we move forward as a group, we are all rising boats, like you said, like bubbles.
Yep, absolutely. It is one of those things that we always talk at RESA. I've been a volunteer. I think I've always been involved in volunteerism my entire career. I've served on so many boards, I can't even keep them straight. I've always been able to give back with philanthropy, and I'm a big fan of it. Number one, I really do like to help people, like to give from my heart. It makes you feel good. But
Yeah, it does.
I'm not going to lie, a nice side effect is it does seem to come back to you tenfold. I mean, I don't ever do anything with the intent of getting something out of it other than, warm, fuzzy feelings and helping somebody out and looking at someone smile that makes you feel good. But it does seem to, it's manifestation, man. It just comes back to you so many different ways, and it opens up doors. That's the other thing is, like, I bet you do this too. When I go to stores, especially if I'm not in the best mood when I leave the house, but even if I'm not, if I'm in a good mood, I go out and you walk through the stores and you see somebody who's dressed really nice, I compliment them. Or I look at their boots, I'm like, oh, girl, where'd you get those boots? Those are to die for. I'm like, don't take those off, I'll steal them. I mean, I say this to people, and you see people's eyes light up. And then the next thing you know, 3 aisles later, somebody looks at me and says, that outfit's to die for. You look so cute. And I'm like, thank you. And then you go on and you do it again. And it's amazing, that energy. I literally do this anytime I go shopping, I do it just to play the game with myself, to watch it happen, because it's literally like magic, how it works. All that positive energy just comes right back to you.
That is like nail on the head. That's kind of a new game for me also, is being brave enough to go up to someone. Like, well, we were just on a trip, right? And I was just at the dentist office with my kids the other day, and this girl had these like fabulous nails, and I was like, oh my God, I love your nails. And she was just so shocked, right, that I would say it. And she's like, I love your style. And I'm like, oh my God, like we love each other. Like, and
that's right.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And had you not taken the risk to put yourself out there initially, you would have never had that experience. It's totally cool.
I love it. It's really fun. I talk about manifestation, how we manifested with each other, or to get to know each other. Years ago, I was with my girlfriend Tilly, and she was like 76 at the time. I don't know. And she came to my house and picks me up. She came to my house, parked, got in my car. We were going out to do errands or something together. She's my older friend. And I said, I'm going to manifest a cup of coffee. Do you want one? And she's like, oh no. And she's like, what is this, you and your manifestation and the secret business and law of attraction? She said, I don't understand any of this. And I'm like, watch. I said, I'm putting it out there right now. I'm manifesting a cup of coffee. And so we drove from my house. It was like a quarter mile. We drive through the drive-through. We get up there, and I just got a small, and a regular coffee, just black coffee. And she said, it's 90 cents or whatever it was. And so I went and handed her my debit card, and she said, oh, I'm not putting 90 cents on your card. Just take it. You come here all the time.
See? And manifestation sounds mystical, and I used to kind of be an eye roller about that, but really what it is just like the minute activities, almost like tiny little things you don't even realize you're doing, that of course funnel towards what you're thinking about.
Yep.
It's like when you're thinking about having a baby and all of a sudden that's all you see, or whatever, you want ice cream and all of a sudden everyone's around you is eating ice cream. And it is fine-tuning your awareness and what your activities are, and whether you're being really aggressive about those activities or you're being kind of lax about it. It all just sort of changes your path over time and leads exactly what you were thinking about.
Yeah. And a lot of people make the mistake. They think that, manifestation, the law of attraction is like just put something on there and wishing on it. And it's like, no, it's not about that. Yeah, my cup of coffee came pretty easily to me, but that's small little everyday stuff. But coincidence, it wasn't. I manifested it. I did. And it was delicious too, by the way. But it's more about it. You have to do it in conjunction with goals and what it is that you're wanting. And it's not like I'm not going to sit here and say, I wish I could, compete in tennis against Serena Williams and win. And I'm going to manifest that. And just like, that's going to happen. That's never going to, Daniel, tell me it's never going to happen, right?
That is probably never going to happen.
Probably not going to happen for me.
Yeah.
So you just can't do things like that, but it's really about getting in tune with yourself. And, I know it sounds a little woo-woo, people, but stick with me, but your vibrations, your energy that you're putting out into the world. And when you do these things, I will share. I'm going to share this with you people. You don't even know. Oh my God. I'm like farm girl from the waist down and party in the club.
Oh my God. I'm wearing sweats too.
I don't want anybody to see what I got going on. Farm girl pants. So I was in an Airbnb about 5 years ago ish in like Toronto, Canada, or Mississauga, somewhere in Canada. It was frozen. That's all I know. And it was with like 5 or 6 other speakers. We were all speaking at an entrepreneur event, and we were talking about things that we wanted to do for the future. And what I said was, I'd like a little side hustle to support my horse habit. And I had an idea for a sisterhood thing, like a organization type of thing. And this is what I said I would want, but I called it Sisterhood Ranch, which we don't have ranches here in North Carolina. But when you look here at this whole thing of it is that I wanted, this is my farm. So when I turn it this way, here's my house, here's my barn, here's forest out here. I have a cabin down here. It literally, when I drew this out 5 years ago, and I've been lugging this around with me ever since. And then I come here now, and you take this and you just like aerial plop it over what my property would look like. That's it.
That's amazing.
That's some weird stuff.
It's some weird stuff. And you know what? Before I met Jason, before we started our business, I was having a really hard time figuring out what I was doing with like my life and how I was going to make money after my first relationship had ended. I had these 2 young children, and there's this community, Bradbury, and I would just drive by it every day. It's kind of like out of the way, right? I'm like, God, I love the gates to this community. And I, just out of my way every single day from school, constantly thinking about it. And the minute I was in a transitionary period, where do you think our first house was rented? Inside those gates. We stayed there for 3 years. It was the most amazing. It led to the house we're in now. And I really feel like it was just the constant focusing on vibrating towards this thing. Yep. 100%.
It works. And when you put this all with your goals and your strategy and you work it every single day, it's like, it's a no-brainer. It's like, you can't lose at it. It's just, and it's also about being positive. Right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you do it? It doesn't actually harm you to just constantly think about your goals. If anything, it's kind of like, it does the same thing that religion does for people. It gives them the hope that there is something beyond what they're currently doing. And it gives them a reason for wanting to act in ways that are positive. So just start manifesting something.
I'm telling you, again, you start with a cup of coffee, people. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just 90-cent cup of coffee.
90-cent cup of coffee.
Like base level manifestation right there. Manifestation for beginners.
It's true. I told a story the other day with The Secret, and in the movie The Secret, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if you do, you'll remember that somebody had a housewarming party. A single woman moved into this house, and she had these huge Jack and Jill closets, and her friends come over and say, hey, you've got this other side of the closet, man, fill that up. You're with all your stuff. And she says, no. And they said, well, why? And I said, because if I do that, there won't be room for my new husband.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was like the way you think about it. You have to make room in your life for certain things. And if you're, and room and things are like, if could it be too cluttered with just stuff and energy and negative thoughts, and it's just such a drag to walk around all
Those are
day,
anchors. Yeah.
just anchored around you. And I've been there. I was there. For so many people wouldn't even recognize me if they knew who I was in high school in my early 20s. It's like, why do bad things always happen to me? That's who I was. And that's what I said all the time. Like, I could not even go to a restaurant and order food because they'd say, you know, how do you like your burger? And I'm like, what's it matter? I'm going to tell you how I like it. And you're going to bring it to me and it's going to be all, it's going to have other stuff on it. I almost swore again. And and then I had to stop doing that because if I say I don't want pickles, I'm going to have extra. If I say no tomatoes, I'll have 4. It's like, I expected that every single time. But when I learned about the secret and the positive thinking and changing my stinking thinking and get a checkup from my neck up, as Zig Ziglar used to say.
Oh my God, like you, what do you mean you don't have sayings? I've heard like 3 or 4 already.
Well, that's Zig Ziglar saying. He's good. That's an easy one. With that, it's like you go out, and I changed my mindset about going out to eat. And as soon as I started doing it, my food came exactly the way I wanted it. Like, thank God there's no pickles on this burger.
Yeah. What's wrong with pickles? You don't
not
like that? Like, bitter? No?
I don't know. I've never really liked a pickle on a burger. Out here in the South, they put pickles on your chicken sandwich.
Yeah, because you need that. You need that like bitterness, right? No? Okay.
No bueno. I don't like it. I do like a fried pickle. I'm not going to lie.
Well, anything fried is choice.
Facts. So I like the fried pickle, and you dip it in the ranch dressing. So I really love that.
Yeah, ranch dressing. There was not a drop of ranch dressing to be found in London. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what am I supposed to put these fries in? Tartar sauce?
Yeah, they do. I've seen that on TV before, where they've got a lot of British people like eating American things. Like there's some guys on TikTok right now doing it. And he's like, I'm moving. I'm going to move here, people. I'm moving here. This dressing. It's mayonnaise in the dressing, and I want more of it. And I'm like, you do. Got to do the hidden.
Dip your pizza in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hold your pizza, or do you eat it with a fork?
That kind of depends. I really like floppy, greasy pizza that you kind of have to fold and eat, but like deep dish, that I'm a fork person. But since my trip to London, now I'm a knife and fork person with everything. It just makes so much sense. I like, growing up, that was like tacky, but I'm like, no, we're using multiple tools now.
Yeah. And when you go overseas too, they take the fork and they turn it upside down, where we use it more like a shovel, and they'll use it like upside down where they push the food up on it.
Totally makes sense.
Rather interesting.
Well, I mean, I happen to think they're slightly more evolved. They've just been around so much longer than us. Although I would never admit that, because we were made fun of so much for being Americans the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. A little annoying, but whatever.
That would be so. I think I don't want to go to England now. I think I do. I've been to Italy. Everything was on a hill back then. It's like, everything was up on the hill, because like back in the day, the medieval days, they built everything up on the hill, so when the enemy was coming, they could see them.
Yeah.
And it's like every hill you walk up, you got to walk back down. But it's like, if you go up the hills and you eat the gelato, and then you got to walk back down, and it's
well, that's why they look so great too, is because they just burn it off as they're consuming.
This is true. And they eat all the time. And then they take their siestas, I think they call them, in the middle of the day, where like they close down for like lunch for a couple hours. And it's like, this is when we just got out of the house. I was like, we just got up and got out of the house and went into town, and everything is closed.
Isn't that so funny when you like kind of hate someone for doing something? Sorry, turned off my light here. When you hate someone for doing something that makes so much sense.
It does make sense. A lot of things other countries do make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things. That's another podcast though.
Yep. Different time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm super stoked to have you on board. Let's give some tea right now. So we talked when we first came on about your amazing social media and creativity skills, and you've agreed to bless the RESACON membership with an extra bonus session. Tell everybody about it.
Okay, this is going to be so much fun. And I have taught a couple classes on video content creation, and those usually focus on like lighting and posting and camera work. And we're definitely going to cover all that. But where this one's totally different is I'm going to be sending out kind of like an instructional step-by-step video before the conference. And participants of this add-on workshop will have a chance to try their hand at that after watching the video, which I think will be really easy to do. And then bring those videos and some portfolio pictures. And then we're going to film some at the resort, like I'll direct it, which I'm like really excited about. And we're going to put together a piece of content that they can post on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, like wherever they find their target audience, in like kind of a whole new way that is going to expand your idea of what you can create online, and not something that is like super phony. Like we're going to unlock authenticity and creativity in this 2-hour workshop. It's going to be super hands-on. It's going to be an opportunity that for me to describe what I know works really well, because I have failed at so many other attempts. And it's totally worth it for a stager who is feeling a little bit concerned right now about how they get themselves in front of their phone or their camera and can talk about their brand.
I love it. You know, short form video and video just in general, it's not always been around. It's only really in the last 5 years-ish, I would say, that it's really kind of come on scene. We've seen people do some really creative stuff. Your Instagram, clearly very creative. And I'm super excited to see what people are going to come up with. And it's a struggle for me sometimes. Like I do my own social on TikTok just about horses and stuff in my barn, because it's really easy because horses are quite hilarious. So it's easy to capture something like that when they're doing something crazy, or, you know, just a demo of something, because people are horribly interested in the way that you work or tips or whatever. Super easy for me to do that. And stagers could be the same thing when you're in your actual staging, just to be able to stop and to capture something that's going on. I also like some of the time-lapse stuff that people do. That's interesting. There's
there are definitely some in-app what is that called? Like filters and technology that I think helps everyone become a very interesting creator online once they start unlocking the way they want to use those tools. But even beyond that, just like with what you're saying with horses, when you know what it is that you are doing, like when you know a lot about it, and we all do, because staging is this process of kind of learning what works for you and what doesn't work for you and what works for your business. You're already an expert at what you're bringing to the scene, and it's different than somebody else. So that is exactly what we're going to work on, branding and bringing forward in an entertaining way that other stagers' clients are going to relate to. It's much easier than I'm even making it sound. I feel like I'm choosing all these like weird buzzwords, but basically we're going to like take the veil off of what it is that you're not saying, so that other people can understand how incredibly challenging and important and useful what it is that you are bringing to the table.
Yep, I love it. You know what else I think is a barrier for a lot of people is that putting themselves out there. Like with me, I've hundreds of hours of me on film, videotaped, audio, whatever. I don't watch myself. I don't go back. It's very hard for me. It's like my voice is like nails on a chalkboard. I'm like, it's like, oh, it's so rough. And I so many people don't like to watch themselves, and then they get the imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to be doing this? And what, you know, probably people, you know, look at me going, what is she thinking? Or if they get negative comments on social media, that's the worst. It's like, and we don't know, why is that the worst? Let me ask you your opinion on this. Why is that the worst when someone you don't even know says something negative on your social media, that it's like a dagger through the heart?
You know what? Like RuPaul says, if they don't pay your bills, pay them. No, never mind. And
who's showing me up with the saying now?
I had one. I was so excited to drop that. But it's 100% true. And you can think of negative comments just like positive comments. They are a little hard to take up front, but really, if they're watching and they felt compelled enough to like type out what they don't like about it, they really spent a lot of time watching that content. It affected them. And that's why you are going on social media, is to affect other people or influence them. I know it's kind of like a word, but to influence them into understanding and buying into what you bring to the scene. So whether it's a negative comment or a positive comment, it's publicity and you want it. Like, just keep going. I also am not a huge fan of the sound of my voice or my image. We all kind of start to feel like, God, I'm just not pretty enough, or I'm not, what is another word? I'm not, what is happening with my light over here? I'm having like a strobe effect. Okay, we're just gonna forget it. Like, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, I hate how I look unlit, but that's not gonna prevent me from going, because something I'm sensitive about isn't what other people are sensitive about. Other people aren't listening to me thinking like, the sound of his voice is so annoying. And if they are, guess what? They're still listening to me.
They are. And they're commenting and boosting your algorithm.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead and hate.
Hate all you want.
Yeah, hate all you want. I'm just going to keep doing me. And that starts to go away too. That whole imposter syndrome feeling, that does start to dissipate. Something we were talking about earlier is the thing about confidence is no one can tell if it's real or fake. And all confidence starts as pretend. You just have to pretend that you can do this. And pretty soon you are doing it. Yeah.
It's an old cowboy once told me, I was out sorting cattle at his farm, and I was sitting back on my horse for a while. And he said, "Why aren't you out there? I thought you loved this." I said, "I do love it, but I need a breather right now. Look at everybody else." And he's like, "Well, why go have fun?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just not as fast as they are. And I'm not as good as they are. And I'm not as balanced as they are." And he looked at me and he said, "Shell." And I said, "It sounded kind of embarrassing." He's like, "Embarrassing?" He's like, "You're not a bad rider at all." He's like, you don't give yourself enough credit. You just need more time in the saddle. That's all it is that you just have, if you don't practice, you can never get better at anything. I'm about to quote like pop culture stuff, and it's going to say how freaking old I am. I need to know who the new people are in this world. I don't know. You don't become Harry Styles because you didn't practice. There you go. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, if you've not been practicing for her entire life at things. People, you have to practice at your craft and hone in on those skill sets in order to become really, really great at them. And it all starts with just one step, and everybody can do it. Everybody can do one step. Yeah, 100%. And it is just daring yourself to do something new. Yep. So fine, we're over our time, because I could sit and talk to you for the next 4 hours, I swear. We are going to continue this at RESACON, everybody. So if you're on the fence about getting to RESACON, please come. Jump off that fence. I always say jump off and run to your computer and clickety clack clack and get yourself a ticket today. Daniel's bonus session on the video content. I don't know the title off the top of my head. Do you? It's catchy. It's Lights, Camera, Staged. There you go. Lights, Camera, Stage. It's a $99 add-on. It's a bonus session. And Daniel has an influencer code, and it is Daniel. And so when you register for RESACON, so if you're new, going to come on to RESACON, register for RESACON, use that code, and that's going to tell us that you saw Daniel online someplace, somehow, and that if you sign up for his bonus class, then you can get a chance at winning a drawing to get that bonus content for nothing. So yeah, for free. And it was going to be 100% worth it. At the end, you'll be like, I can't believe this video that I created with, my help, but I created only cost me $99. I mean, it's going to be professional quality. We're talking here. Yep. 2 hours learning something, putting videos together, and it's something that you can walk away with. In addition, just walking away with the content, you walk away with the knowledge, so you can go home and you can shampoo, rinse, repeat, because that's what I like to do. Shampoo, rinse, repeat, just do it over and over and over. And you just get better results every single time because you're practicing. You're getting that time in your saddle, man.
100%.
100%. All right.
That goes back to manifestation, honestly.
Facts. Love it. All right, everybody. This July, RESAConvention.com. Please check us out. Get your ticket today. Daniel, it is so awesome to always hang out with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too.
Everybody. Until next time, everybody, happy staging.